Welcome to Marketing.Clinic. Let's talk about how I personally would start a social media marketing company in 2024. So, from the very specific tools I would use, all the way down to how I would define my customers, niche down, and get my first clients. As a quick disclaimer, I'm not a social media pro. I haven't been doing this 20 years. I'm just theorizing how I would find my customers and get started at kind of a low price point. This is based on watching some productized media services start off and struggle to find customers. So let's start over here with the how. We're going to be doing this whole video in real time. I'm going to be picking a random city and we're just going to completely do this in real time, and I'm going to talk through the decisions I make. So the first thing we're going to do is define our customers. This is a pretty basic step. Let's say small businesses and cafes. I like coffee, so we're going to keep this a very broad one. And part of what we're going to do is we're going to niche down. So I think about niching in two different ways: a geographical niche or a industry niche. So we could niche down to only roofing companies, or actually, let's say only cold brew cafes. So this is a specific type of coffee. Or we can niche down by location, only town name. So there's two different ways I think about this. In order to initially get reviews, this is my biggest strategy because I can't serve the whole world at once. You know, social media marketing, you can perform for a wide variety of companies, but I think testimonials and previous clients are going to be one of the biggest things about this business that matters. So to get those initial reviews, I'm going to be doing jobs very cheap, but for a specific niche. If I came to you as a company and you're selling cold brew coffee, and my previous client was a roofing company or a shingle company and a medical clinic, you're probably not going to trust me as much as if I had 10 previous clients that are all cold brew cafes. So that's part of why we're niching down. I want to show my future clients that I'm really good at their niche. So instead of niching to a specific part of the industry, I'm going to niche down to only my city. So this is kind of helpful, I feel like, for trust and just for fun. We're going to go into this random city generator. Thank you to Arimo Travels for their website. So this is, again, all in real time. And we have our city. The first thing I'm going to do, and this is going to be part of my decision-making process, is I've never been to this city, Mombasa, Kenya. Mombasa, maybe. And so I want to make sure the population is big enough to support my business. And the population is 1.2 million people. So more than large enough for me to support my business. Just for fun, let's go ahead and see where in the world we are here. I'm familiar with where Kenya is, but you know, I haven't heard of this specific city. Okay, so it's a little bit, it looks like southeast of Nairobi. So let's, we know that city is big enough, so let's check the competition. So I'm just going to go Mombasa social media marketing. And we see we have a social media marketing agency, Tevama, Zuchi Technologies, freelancer website, some SEO places here, Akus Digital Solution. So it seems like we have quite a few competitors. So what I'm doing is I'm just opening these in another tab because I want to see if maybe I need to niche down further and maybe I need to talk about only coffee shops in Mombasa. So here we have our first competitor, Tavama.com. I like the name, it's catchy, it's short. All right, and here we have, signal of trust. 8 out of 10 people are reached, and 71% of users are more familiar or more likely to purchase. So some, facts there. And Zuchi here we have, it looks like they do SEO along with perhaps social media. Ooh, and I like this. They have their packages right on their page. So 3 posts a week, and I'm going to be showing a different productized agency. So here we have some awesome competitors. I'm excited for that. We have It looks like, interestingly, we have kind of two chat options in the left and in the right corner. So WhatsApp versus, looks like this is, I think, Talk. Yeah, TAWK. And then we have a different marketing services company. So let's put ourselves in the mindset of our ideal customer. So let me grab that name again. And we are doing marketing, social media, marketing service just focused on Mombasa businesses. The important thing here is we will expand outside of this city after we have other clients. And I think this really depends on, where you're at. If you're in a small city, maybe you niche down within the industry first. If you're in a big city like this, maybe you get a couple clients locally. So my next step here, and the reason this is a question mark, is because I honestly feel like the next step here might be to go start frequenting some local shops that have a budget for social media marketing. And how you can do this is just look up the city and you're going to start getting Instagram ads for that city. And whoever is paying for ads already, or on Google Maps, whoever is paying for ads already seems to have that budget. So we're targeting the right businesses. I can dive into that a little bit more in a future video. There are a few tools where you can see local businesses that are paying for advertising, but let's dive into what I would do before I talk to those businesses because I want to come off as someone who, is easy to purchase from and it's easy to see what benefits you're getting from me. But again, the reason this is question marks is because there's so many ways to go about it. This is what I would almost call customer discovery. This is where I would offer to do it for free, and this is kind of the tools I would use to do that. So it is going to require some initial investment. I wouldn't start charging right away because I need to build up that trust and testimonials. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a AppSumo app. And for those familiar with AppSumo, you may roll your eyes, but I've had some awesome experiences on deals here. I've had some less than awesome experiences. The whole concept is normally these products, cost a monthly amount, which if I'm running an agency, I'm trying to decrease the monthly costs in every way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look up social media here. And we're going to be presented with a few different social media tools. I'm just going to go ahead and open these in new tabs. And it looks like we have two social media management tools. Because my goal is to teach myself how to use these tools along with providing a local business, a local company from Mombasa, a very cheap way to, I'm going to offer my services for free as an exchange of me learning along the way. So here we have Marky, and I'm just going to show you their main website as well, but we see here that it is automatic social media posting for Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, and Google Business. So this looks pretty optimal for us. And it starts at $69, which again, we get this product for life, and we can handle up to 3 brands. So compare that to if you just stumble across this product Marky on the web without using AppSumo, you're just going to see this pricing table. And let's switch. Okay. This is a little bit hard to see. I'm not a huge fan of this pricing tactic, but that's all right. So here we see it's $1 a month and then $23 a month. Or for 3 brands or 2 brands, it looks like it's $1 a month and then $46 a month. So by using AppSumo, we're paying for about a month and a half, but we're getting the product for life. And companies use AppSumo because they're starting a new product or they're launching something. They want that initial user base and some testimonials. Just like how we're providing the initial services for businesses really cheap, the companies here on AppSumo are maybe taking a loss or maybe not making very much by giving us a tool to do this without paying monthly. So here I would probably, if I have a decent budget, I would consider the agency plan here because it's you can see here it's suited for the agency dashboard. Unlimited posts per month. I can work with 50 brands. If I'm just getting started though, of course I can buy the $69 one. And then before I make a purchase on AppSumo, I typically scroll through the company's website. kind of see what they're about. So this is perfect. Auto-generated designs, sweet. That's less time I need to spend on each business. I can create a bunch of content if they have a brand website. Um, what other features do we have here? I can make carousels. I can do TikToks. I can see, oh, awesome. So they're going to be adding in, trending content. So my marketing will work even better. I think the thing I'm thinking about here is if messaging is included, because maybe I want to handle messaging for the business. So AppSumo has the ability, you can just search all of the previous questions here. And here it looks like I don't see any comments here about messaging. Messages, maybe. Centralized dashboard, market up, Canva-like editor. All right, so I don't see anything, and when I say messaging, I mean, handling Instagram, WhatsApp, all the messages in one place for the business. I don't see that included in here. So maybe I'm just going to frame my business around that. But let's look at the other tool I opened, Follower AI. And this is another social media on autopilot. Kind of a perfect time because as these tools are released, if you're a business owner, you're focused on running your cafe, you don't really want to dedicate the time to go and investigate and buy this tool. And that's why you outsource it for a cheap price to our agency. And it looks like we have some generation stuff in here. We can do 5 companies for $87, so way cheaper. This has AI words, unlimited scheduled posts. Let's see what other apps it has. So it has the same apps as the other tool. For this one, I'll admit I tend to stay away from AI imagery just right now for social media, just because it looks a little bit interesting, which can be a good thing. It depends on your market. And then I'm just going to read through the questions briefly. For now, let's stick with Marky. And let's kind of go through exactly what I would do here. So I would probably buy the plan, probably a low price plan, and I would start manually reaching out to different businesses in Mombasa. And let's say we want to niche down to cafes because this is a city of 1 million or more people. So there's plenty of businesses, and in the same way we niched earlier, we'll probably want to do that again. So here, I'm going to, I purchased my software and I'm ready to go. And I want to just see if there's a business type that I kind of know something about, or even if I don't, that's all right, that I'm willing to learn about. Or let's look up coffee shops, actually. All right, there we go. So since I drink coffee, I'm more familiar with it. So this is, let's say, the first customer that I'd like to target. So they have a Facebook account. They have a 3.9 star rating on Google Maps. And so I kind of see that as awesome opportunity for, me to say, hey, let's work together and get that rating up and maybe get a little bit more recognition on social media. And then it can be either a trade for, food or drink, or for free because, again, we're just starting this agency. So what I am going to do at this point is I'm going to go and look at several of these businesses. I'm going to go to Everest Cafe. I'm going to go to Grindhouse Africa, and I'm just going to kind of see what it's like. And more importantly, I'm going to look into all of their social media because I want to see if they're running ads. I want to see if they're, this place, for example, this has a whole website, right? And so clearly they are spending some amount of money on marketing already. Sort of like I mentioned at the beginning, I want to target the businesses that do have some amount of money for advertising. I want to keep them in mind, but honestly, that's not very important at the start because at the start, remember, we're offering our services for almost free just to get a testimonial. And the concept of that is, let's say that CF Cafe has no marketing budget. It doesn't look like they have a website. And I can go and I can take an updated set of menu pictures. I can go read their reviews and kind of help them identify some areas there. And I can start doing social media on, let's just say, Facebook and Instagram only, or whatever my target area is doing. So if I work with CF Cafe for even just a month, and I'm able to get their social media account a few more followers, some more engagement, and ultimately increase the amount of customers they get, it's awesome because I'm able to say, hey, can you talk to Everest Cafe and let them know that I'm offering my services really cheap as I start this agency. Um, can you let them know? I can use the work that I've done at CF Cafe to leverage some amount of trust and credibility. And again, we're not trying to scam anybody. We're not trying to betray trust, right? We want to be honest. And I think this is the main thing that I used to mess up all the time is I would try to make a perfect website and a massive social media account before I reached out to these businesses. And I would only have a month of experience at the time. And then it kind of reeks of it's a little bit disingenuous because I didn't have the experience, but I have a fancy website. Whereas in this, we're going the exact opposite route. We're saying, hey, we're just starting. You get the bonus of having social media and not paying us, and we get the bonus of you testifying or giving us a testimonial or telling your friends about us. And now maybe we're able to get all five of these, this cafe group here, all five of these cafes kind of talking to each other about us, and we can leverage that. We can put the testimonials on our website and everywhere else. So let's talk about that next step. So we've kind of gotten past the question mark step here, which is awesome. And now let's get into actually how I would set up for paying customers, getting into payments. And this is very location dependent. Since my company would be based out of the US, I would use Stripe or Paddle, but this could be as simple as, a trade of goods, so getting free food or free drinks or free coffee, or it could be, cash on delivery, an informal arrangement. It really depends on how you're set up. I do want to highlight a couple things here though. So we want to automate as many things as possible. Let's say that things went really well and we're managing social media for let's say the Bunny Cafe too. So 6 cafes in this area. We're able to do that by leveraging the tool that we purchased at the start, right? Because with Marky, we can manage, I forgot how many brands it was, 50 brands. So we have, 46, 40, 44 to go. And we're using some AI, so it's all rapid. And now I want to get into paying customer territory. So the main thing I think about is if I am the owner of CF Cafe, or let's do a new cafe. If I am the owner of Arabica Cafe, I am just looking for a job to be done. I want my social media to be taken care of. So what that doesn't include is that doesn't include negotiating with a social media management company. That doesn't include, even really searching for it. I just want it to be taken care of without thinking about it. And I would prefer for that to be done at the lowest monthly price because I'm a business owner. I own this cafe. I want to focus on, coffee and good food, not social media. So let's take a look at our competitors again here and think about that frame of mind. So here, if I'm a business owner, all I'm looking for is I'm looking for a buy button somewhere on here. And that's what I really liked about this page, Zuki Technologies, is if I have a question, I have, 2 places to put that question. But if I want something done, my job to be done is get 3 posts a week. All I do is I pay a monthly amount, I chat on WhatsApp, and my job is done. I don't have to think about anything. It's 3 posts a week and it's done. As you can see, the prices go up, so we can kind of look at the local market prices and say, how do I want to adjust mine based on that, while keeping in mind that our business is still new. But what I would do to set this whole thing up, just since I wanted this to be pretty comprehensive and exactly what I would do, is I would grab Perplexity for any odd tasks. So Perplexity is actually free if I use labs.perplexity.com. And here I'm able to use some of the, I apologize. Here I'm able to use some of the more up-to-date AI models that have just gotten released if I use labs.perplexity.ai. There's no login process. I typed it in just to show you I'm not logging into anything, nothing like that. And I'm going to just say, let me grab the name here again. And this model, for example, can browse online while I chat with it. So really impressive. What are 20 unique ways I can market cafes in Mombasa? Here it's going to search the internet and then come back to me with an answer right away. And the only reason I bring this tool up is because, instead of paying for a GPT or another business tool, I'm just going to use this and chat with it all the time, get some free ideas, use the most updated AI models. Those can be switched down here. I'm not going to dive into this video, but as you can see, now I have a whole bunch of options. So after I talk with a business owner, maybe I hop in here and I continue that conversation and I say, pretend you're a business owner in Mombasa and you want to, make a unique idea, and I'm pretty much instantly going to have a whole bunch of different awesome ideas. The next tool is, since my competitors have websites, I'm going to make a website. I also think it's gotten a lot cheaper to do, and so it's almost a no-brainer for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make either a card website, which is a no-code builder, or a SiteGround website, which is kind of like a WordPress host. So let's say, I would do keyword research on this, but for now, let's not. So I'm just going to say mombasasocialmedia.com. And if this is available, awesome, because sometimes I would want to, brand my own company and say, oh, I want it to be a special name. But again, let's go back to the business owner's mindset. When they type this domain in, I want them to think, oh, okay, this company is in Mombasa doing social media. If we do want to expand out of our city, which it's a city of 1 million people, so I don't really want to do that. I'm still going to probably use like social media management, and then something else, because instead of fighting the battle to educate my customers every single time on, oh, what is your website? So for example, what I see a lot is something like, let's see, let's actually use our two examples companies for this. So Feedbird, for example, every time a business owner lands on this page, if they just type in the domain Feedbird, they don't know what that is. If I tell you the word Feedbird, you have no idea. So the company has to put on their main page right here, expert social media management from only $99 a month. And we're trying to avoid that, right? We want it to be very clear when somebody types in our domain, we don't want to have to educate our users yet again. And the cool thing about domains, you can always grab a different domain. You can always, it's a decision that you can redirect old domains. So you could have something like Mombasa social media, and then when you expand, you can just redirect that domain to your primary domain. So we'll change this to social media management team, maybe is going to be available. All right, this is way too long. I probably wouldn't buy this, but I just want to give you the idea that for your average, business owner, it's a lot easier, I would say, to think, Mombasa social media. I believe I misspelled that. Whoops. Instead of, something like Zuchi Technologies, I would think like maybe that's a technology company, or Tivama. And I mentioned I like these company names. It's just this is kind of one more step in the process. They have to educate their users that, okay, when you hear Tivama, you think social media management or SEO or link building. When you hear Zuchi, you think social media management, versus when you hear mombasasocialmedia.com, you think, oh, I wonder what they do. Probably social media. It's very clear. So Searchbound on Twitter has been a real resource for kind of changing my mindset on branding and domain names there. All right, so after I buy my domain, or I'm going to use a WordPress host to buy it, I'm going to just throw up a quick Card website, and Card is a no-code tool. It's a very low priced, and you can put a buy button right in there. So let's another tactic that I like to use before we dive into the tactics actually. So Card, I believe is $9 a year. Yep, so $9 a year, or $19 a year if we buy our own custom domain. For a little bit more expensive and comprehensive, I use SiteGround, which is WordPress. WordPress is a little bit of a burden to get set up, I would say, but I use it because the key thing I'm looking for is a email tool, and Card does not give me that. But basically, when I say that, I want the ability to tell a business owner, oh yeah, just email us at hi@mombasasocialmedia.com. Because if you say, let's compare this for a second. So we're talking to a business owner, and let's compare hi at oops, I'm going to move this out of the way. So let's compare giving this email address versus the Gmail address. So here I've just typed hi@mombasasocial.com versus mombasasocial@gmail.com. The first one is a marketing tool in itself. I'm only recently really getting on this train, but it's made me realize that when I give out my email at conferences or business meetups, if I say the first one, it's an instant visit to my website. And if my website is good enough, it's almost an instant customer if they have that need. The second one is great to start out, but my goal is to buy my domain and get an email behind it as fast as possible. And depending on your budget for your agency, maybe you start with the first one for half a year and then you forward it to the second one. Because the cost of this setup is, let's actually see if Mombasa Social is available. Oh wow, it is. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty cool too. It doesn't really tell me as much as the previous one. But the cost of this setup, for a year is $9 plus, if we use WordPress, SiteGround, $9 plus around, I believe this is around $50. 5 times 12, it's around 60. And with this, I get free email included. So I can just have an iCloud email set up, good to go. And that, to me, that makes this a little bit more desirable. I can just use a free WordPress theme to accomplish the same purposes as a Card website. So those are the tools I would use. And the main thing that I would put on my website is a very easy purchase process. So the business owner, they get an email from me or I meet them, they go to my website and they say, oh, why not? They have a cheap price. I can hit buy on the website. Good to go. Let's talk about some ways I would get, let's say, inspiration here for a second. So I've niched down, I've done this, and now I've set up my whole process. And this is kind of after setup or during setup. I want inspiration from places outside of my niche. So what I'm going to do is and this is called like a swipe file or a swipe list in copywriting. I'm going to basically make a list of businesses that are like mine, but different. So North American advertising, for example, sort of like mine, but different. It's for North America instead of Kenya, and it's for Google Ads and social media. So this is an example of a company that I believe is doing pretty well based on what I've seen. And they have a lot of copy on their page, but they're very clear here. Normally when you see these sites, by the way, they don't give prices, which bothers me. But they're very clear here. They offer some unique options. They say, just call us, right? We're available anytime. If I am, running a business, I don't want to have to deal with emailing my social media management team all the time. I want to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, can we do a post? We're having an event this Saturday. Can you post about it? Thanks. That easy. So a lot of these things I'm going to kind of take inspiration from for my business. The other cool thing here is they're telling me up front, okay, this is $500 a month, or this is $1,000 a month, and we're going to do this, this, and this. So I'm going to save this website. Another one I'm going to save, back to Feedbird, is Feedbird. Really clear landing page here, right? Expert social media management for $99 a month. If that's not a clear intro, I don't know what is. So I want to keep that on my website. The other thing here is their pricing. They have a clear pricing table, a little bit different than the last one, but $149 a month, and they get 15 social media posts, and here's what you get with it. And so I'm going to look for all of these competitors and I'm just going to apply the same tactic to my locale or my niche. This is all kind of part of the optimization process. So as I'm doing this all, now I might start niching out. Now I might start zooming out to find other coffee shops and coffee businesses. I can start to put these testimonials, just like we saw on one of our other websites. I can start putting these testimonials on my website and I can start saying, oh, interesting. Wow, okay, so they have all these testimonials. And I eventually want my website to look like that, just with my locale. So this has been a little bit of how I would start a social media marketing company in 2024. I think the biggest part for me is even before buying a domain, buying a website, going out, going to one of these businesses, talking to the business owner and saying, hey, what social media things would you want help with? Maybe I go to the business a few times, so it's a less of a stranger conversation, but what would you want for free? Or what would you pay for in the future? And maybe this actually prevents us from making a mistake, right? Maybe instead of social media, we say, oh, we're going to focus on just Google Maps and we're going to help people get better Google Maps reviews and show up higher in the search results and things like that, right? Maybe it helps us say, oh, the current social media management, person they're using isn't quite as good as they'd like them to be. And what are the pain points? How can our agency solve them? So this is kind of start to finish how I would start this with a mindset towards scaling. I would say the most critical difference here is we're thinking about scale from the start. We're using the initial businesses to not only get us testimonials, but help teach us about the tool that we're using, right? We don't want to go into the business and charge them if we have no idea how to use Marky. We want to get used to Marky, provide some free services and some benefits for a local business, and then have the opportunity to scale to 50 brands and charging them and have our own website and everything like that. But we have no idea what the companies will actually pay for if we don't get started and just try different ideas. So again, not an expert, as you probably as you can probably tell at various points throughout this video. Not an expert in any way. Just kind of brainstorming how I would start some type of social media business. And the number one critical mistake, sorry to hide this at the end, but the number one critical mistake that I see a company like this messing up on is offering too much and not niching down. The temptation is to say, oh, we can do anything. We're great at Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google. But the truth is it's really hard to define that. If I was marketing myself, I would tell the business owner, me, I'm really good at Google Maps. I have 10 plus years using it, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, optimizing profiles. And so I wouldn't even advertise myself that, as social media marketing, but I would niche down and I would niche down again to cafes. And that would help me get those initial customers. When the scope is so broad, it's really challenging to get initial customers because you're targeting everyone. And by targeting everyone, you're targeting almost no one. Hope this was a fun exploration for you. And if you live in Mombasa, please let me know where I messed up, or if you plan to start a company there. I would love to hear more about it and feature you on this channel for sure. So, thanks for watching, and feel free to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined.